Yeah, I'm in my Bayformers rewatch era. So today I rewatched Transformers Dark of the Moon, and much like the last one, this one made me go, what? But like, wait, this one kinda slaps? After Revenge of the Fallen, I was prepared for
emotional damage.
That movie definitely should have just waited for the writer's strike to blow over, but this one definitely hits different, like in a good way. We open on Cybertron, which is cool. It's grand, it's tragic, it's operatic, but like, why is everything hexagons? Who on the design team said, you know what alien civilization should look like? A beehive. I mean, it's fine. I'll accept the hexagons, because what matters here is something way more important. This movie opens with context. It opens with war. The Cybertronian civil war that we actually haven't seen on screen before. It opens with Sentinel Prime trying to save his planet. It opens with desperation. That's mythology. It's actual lore building. Kinda insane for old Mikey B. Then we get the space race conspiracy. It's so good, it honestly feels like it was smuggled in from a different, much smarter movie. The film kicks off with a brilliant piece of alternate history. What if the entire 1960s space race wasn't about planting a flag, but was actually a frantic, sweat-drenched scramble to reach a crashed Cybertronian ship on the moon? That's the kind of sci-fi nonsense that I love more than Mr. Krabs loves money. We see real archival footage of President JFK, really cleanly edited to look like he's ordering the Apollo 11 mission as a top-secret recon flight. It's slick, it's stylish, and when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin finally land, they fake a comms blackout to go investigate a colossal, silent alien ship. Inside, they find the corpses of giant robots, and one of the astronauts reports back, his voice shaking.
These things are massive.
It is, without a single shred of irony, a perfect sci-fi conspiracy setup. It's smart, it feels grounded, and it immediately jacks up the stakes. And for just a second, you forgot you're watching a movie based on a line of children's toys. And then we cut back to the present day. The tonal whiplash is just barnacles. We go from a high-concept space mystery to watching Shia LaBeouf, a guy who has saved the entire planet twice, bitching and moaning about not being able to find a job.
Why did we bother sending him to an Ivy college for?
And this shit was before the hostile AI takeover. He's living in an iCarly apartment with his new girlfriend, who is named Carly. Huh. Now the movie introduces Carly with a thirsty slow motion shot of her in her underwear. Just so we're crystal clear on what her role is in the film. Not Megan Fox. Sam, meanwhile, is just bitter that he can't put Kill the Decepticon on his resume.
Obama gave me a medal, actually. I'm just saying, it's always good to have a medal guy in the office with a medal.
It's a goofy, jarring shift that really defines the whole movie. Moments of pure genius stitch to scenes of absolute USDA-graded absurdity. Let's talk structure, because structure is the biggest difference here. The first movie had structure. The second movie had... Give me your faith. And this one, it has an actual spine. We have Act 1, The Mystery of the Ark. Act 2, The Resurrection and Betrayal. And then finally Act 3, The Chicago Siege. That's clean and readable. Scenes build toward consequences, and information introduced early pays off later. Sentinel is initially introduced as a savior, but then reframed into a traitor. That's actual storytelling. Amazing. One of the cooler parts of this new status quo is seeing the Autobots fully integrated into the military. Their first big mission takes them to Chernobyl to investigate a piece of Cybertronian tech, and this whole sequence is pretty fantastic. It's moody, it's atmospheric, and it gives us our first look at Shockwave and his pet driller that's, I mean, it's basically just Mecha Alaskan bullworms. You know what? I'd let that thing bikini my butt. The tech they find leads them to the crash ship on the moon, where they find the comatose body of Sentinel Prime, who is Optimus's old mentor.
You're coming home, old friend.
And here's where the movie pulls out its secret weapon. Sentinel Prime is voiced by the late, great Leonard Nimoy.
I will overlook your condescending tone if you heed the gravity of mine.
A stroke of absolute genius. If you're a Trekkie like me, Nimoy's iconic voice gives Sentinel instant gravitas, but it's also a deep-cut reference for fans. Nimoy famously voiced Galvatron in the 1986 animated Transformers the movie.
Coronation, Starscream. This is bad comedy.
In the movie, we also see the little bots, Brains and Wheelie, watching the Star Trek episode Amok Time and saying,
So when Spock goes nuts.
which kind of hints at Sentinel's eventual betrayal with all the subtlety of a bag of bricks. Honestly, crazy that they put foreshadowing in here. Sentinel Prime reveals he made a deal with Megatron ages ago to save Cybertron no matter the cost. Basically Peacemaker. And then he bingo bangos Ironhide and lays out his plan. Uses teleportation pillars to bring Cybertron into Earth's orbit and enslave humanity to rebuild their home world.
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
To be honest, it's kind of a lazy twist of Spock's famous lines from Star Trek, but it kind of works here, so I'm willing to give it a pass. Leonard Nimoy sells the pain and conviction in his voice perfectly, and it really does turn Sentinel into a fallen hero, not just another villain of the week. The stakes get even higher when Sentinel activates the space bridge, bringing hundreds of Decepticon ships from the moon to Earth, and this part just loses me. They were waiting there the whole time? Like what? It would have been okay if he was teleporting Decepticons from Cybertron, but the moon? Where were they in the first one? Where were they in the second one? It's a pretty baffling decision, but whatever. The resulting chaos in DC was a pretty cool scene. And it was cool to see the reference to the original cartoon with Meg sitting on the Lincoln Memorial. Speaking of Megatron, what the f*** happened to him? Why was he just demoted to Sentinel's barnacle boy? The movie shows him brooding in Africa, draped in a tattered cloak like a sad, rusty hobo. He honestly just looks like Squidward after he quit the Krusty Krab. It's pathetic, but I guess it serves to establish Sentinel as the film's true villain. They really did Megatron dirty though. Before we continue on, I just want to let you know that this video is sponsored by no one. This video is sponsored by no one. So please subscribe so maybe I could get sponsored. Now let's talk about the weird design evolution, because it gets kind of wacky here. Sentinel has a beard, a metal beard. I don't know. I'm just like, it looks weird, man. I don't know. And then there's Q/Wheeljack. I actually refuse to call him Wheeljack. He's been butchered so bad. Why does he look like if Einstein was a robot and then died? If you just look at all of the new characters, they all have some of the same things going on. The design team tried to just make them look more human for some reason, which I don't think makes any sense. The earlier films leaned into alien abstraction, and this one just, I don't know. What if we took humans and just made them look like Transformers, I guess? Pretty weird, man. And on the villain side, it's not a whole lot better. We're back to indistinguishable gray blobs. It's impossible to tell who any of the Decepticons are because there's no color differentiation, barely any personality coding. They're all just kind of metallic messes, and I think this remains one of the franchise's biggest visual failures. The Autobots get personality, but the Decepticons get nothing. I mean, even though the last one lost track of his characters, at least they had some flavor going on. The final act of Dark of the Moon takes pretty much the back half of the movie, but I think it's pretty sweet. The Decepticons lock down Chicago in pretty much the same way Bane did in Dark Knight Rises. Even though the imagery is pretty much the same, it's still fun to see it completely swarmed with Decepticons and wondering how the Autobots will save the day this time. In a moment of unbelievable, smooth-brained political incompetence, the world's governments agreed to exile the Autobots, sending them off in a shuttle that Starscream just blows up. Of course, the Autobots fake their deaths, otherwise the movie just kind of ends. And yeah, they return to the city so we can see giant robots fight each other again. The stories from the VFX team at ILM are pretty cool. The Driller was apparently one of the most complex assets they had ever built, with over 70,000 individual parts, more than 7 times the number in Optimus Prime in 2007. The sequence where it destroys the skyscraper supposedly took 288 hours per frame to render. You know, that level of technical achievement is just impressive. Like, I can't really knock that. The battle is full of iconic moments, like the squirrel suit bullshit. That shit will never not make me laugh. Every time I watch this sequence, I'm just baffled. Look, like, I used to be in the army, and if this was a plan that the G3 was actually running, that kind of just means we're already dead. Like, we already died, we lost everyone, everyone's dead, and this is all we have left. So, like, what is this? Like, I don't know what any of this is. Like, I don't know. I mean, just look at it. It looks pretty stupid, okay? And then the Autobots get executed.
No prisoners. I think they're going to kill us.
Like what the fuck, man? This also just makes me laugh every time I see it, because this is a kid's movie. I mean, I knew Bumblebee was safe, otherwise Hasbro loses money. But like, what is this? We literally have alien robots just begging for their lives here. It's, yeah, I don't know. Interesting choice. And then Killer Optimus flies in to kill everybody. This is not the inspirational leader Optimus. The writers forgot this guy was the leader of Cybertron, and his whole shtick in this is his remorse for having to kill members of his race in order to achieve peace. But then he's doing this. It's really wild considering that this guy used to be
amazing boobies.
The climax of the film doesn't really resolve with the giant explosion, but with a human taking advantage of the fragile male ego. Carly, using her wits, manages to turn Megatron against Sentinel by just saying,
"You'll be nothing but Sentinel's bitch."
Just as Sentinel is about to execute Optimus, Megatron attacks him from behind.
My planet.
And this is where Optimus Prime just completely snaps. After Megatron, someone who Optimus once considered a brother saves his life and suggests a truce. Optimus just says nah, and then rips his spine out. And then my favorite part in the whole movie.
No, Optimus!
This scene always just makes me laugh because this whole trilogy is just kind of the good guy turns into the bad guy. Okay, look, Dark of the Moon is not perfect. The hexagons on Cybertron, Decepticons are still gray mush. Megatron deserved more presence, but honestly, this is kind of the most competent Bayformers movie. The movie understands setup and consequence, and it respects narrative rhythm, and it has the most compelling villain in Sentinel Prime. Is it a perfect movie? No. The human humor is still pretty cringe. It's too long, the tone is all over the place, and it still has plenty of Michael Bay's worst habits, but the highs are pretty high that they managed to pull the movie up from its deep, deep lows. It's the only Bayformers film that feels genuinely epic, with stakes that feel real and consequences that feel permanent. I think it fully embraces the explosive stupidity of his premise while accidentally telling a compelling story about betrayal and the cost of war. But that's just my take. What do you think? Is Dark of the Moon the secret masterpiece of the Bayformers, or am I just stupid? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, now I gotta recharge before getting into the next two masterpieces.
No, Optimus!